Hi everyone, I hope you're well. So sorry that I'm in the same outfit for like the third video, but I don't get very much time to film these days, and when I do, I like to do it in bulk. And the lighting's very good and I've got makeup on and it'd be a wasted opportunity otherwise. So I wanted to talk to you today in our little diet series about what I call trigger foods. Now, what do trigger foods mean? Let's look for a specific definition for the sentence. Well, it's not a full sentence, it's a combination of words. Trigger foods. So, let's have a look. A trigger food is a specific food that sets off a course of overeating where control is lost. The most common trigger foods are calorie-dense, highly palatable foods that are often combinations of sugar and fat, i.e. ice cream, cookies, or salt and fat, nuts, potato chips, french fries. That's actually very interesting about the combination of sugar and fat and salt and fat, because that is actually very, very true. And the reason for that is because they're two combinations that make everything delicious, aren't they? If you think about it. And so I'm somebody who has very good self-control, generally speaking, with food. I have quite good willpower when I'm on it. And I can kind of say no to things around me that maybe other people might struggle with. So for example, like if someone's eating a cake or a donut or whatever, I can easily say no. My trigger foods for me personally are crisps. Basically, well, crisps in general, and things like chocolates that come in like a multi-bag. Now, I've had chocolate in the fridge. I've got the low sugar Aldi one. I've had that in the fridge for a while, and I'll have a tiny little bit of it every day, and it satisfies my sweet tooth, and I don't need any more than that. Dark chocolate, like, you know, like really dark chocolate, satisfies my sweet tooth as well. I can have a tiny bit and I don't want it anymore. If you give me a packet of like a multi-packet of anything, literally, and it can be healthy, it can be like, you know, like whatever, then I struggle to stop. I'll get it out of the packet, I'll only have a bit, but the fact that it's in a packet like that does something to me mentally that I do really, really struggle with self-control. So I haven't been buying things like that, but the other day I saw somebody, this girl I follow on Instagram who's vegan, show some vegan dark chocolate buttons that she bought from Morrison's, and I was in Morrison's yesterday and I saw them and I grabbed them, and I oomed and ahed about what to grab, because I needed more chocolate basically. I wanted to buy some more chocolate because I was nearly out. And I oomed and ahed and I wasn't sure, and then I was like, fine, whatever, I'll take that one. So I did, and then today I had a little bit, and then I had a little bit more, and I had a little bit more, and I ended up eating a lot more than what I was going to because of the way they were. They were like little individual, you know, buttons that you can just keep eating. And I've realised that with me, that's my trigger. If it's something that you can keep eating like that. Whereas if it's just a piece of chocolate, I'll eat it, you know, yummy, nice, whatever, swallow it, and you're done. It's not that repeated thing. Crisps for me are another ball game because we are a crisp obsessed family. My mum's a very healthy eater. She's very naturally thin, but she loves crisps. Crisps are her thing. Everybody in my family, not me these days, but everybody in my family eats crisps every single day. And I thought about that for a while, and I said to my mum, do you realise that it isn't normal that we all eat crisps every single day, because there is so little nutritional value in just a packet of ordinary like Walker's crisps. So little nutritional value. They don't fill you up. It's just salt and fat and flavourings, but they're just so delicious, and they're made in a way that will make you want to keep eating. So things like Pringles, once you pop you can't stop. Hell yeah, because they're yummy and they're crunchy, and all you have to do is just open the packet and it's there and you can just keep eating it. Now we haven't been buying snacks at home for the last sort of month or so at all, because I haven't been eating any. I've been kind of being really good and sticking to kind of low carb and that. I don't really tend to need a snack at night. I'm okay. But Paul said that he was getting hungry after he ate his dinner, which, don't even get me started on the fact that he's not, because he eats really, really big portions of dinner. He just wants a snack, which is fine. And so he bought a couple of snacks, and he bought some like cheesy cracker things. I didn't even particularly want any, and what had happened was I had made something for dinner for me. It was like a stuffed pepper situation. It wasn't nice. That I really, really didn't like. I really, really didn't enjoy my dinner. I didn't finish all of it. It was not nice. And I'd made a big portion of it so that I could have leftovers the next day for lunch. And I was just like really dreading it, because I just really didn't fancy it. So I didn't enjoy my dinner, so that wasn't a great start. And he got into bed and he was eating these crackers, and I was hungry because I hadn't finished all of my dinner, and I couldn't be asked to then sort of like faff around and make myself something else. So I had a few, and then I had a bit more, and I had a bit more, and then I was like, right, that's enough now, that you're not actually hungry, like you don't need any more. But they were there, and I was watching TV, and they were just easy to go like that with, and I had a bit more. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I didn't even want them. They weren't even a snack that I particularly like. Like, I like crisp, these black crackery things. He likes crackery things more. He's not a crisp person. I'm not crazy about like just regular Walker's crisps. My favourites are, I love the Tear and Share sort of vinegar Walkers. They're like really thick ones. Those are my favourite. I also really, really like Pringles, the green ones, the barbecue ones, the paprika ones, the tortilla ones. I can eat the cheese and onion ones. Hula Hoops, the brown ones, kettle chips, plain, or sort of vinegar, or the balsamic vinegar ones. You get my drift. Crisps, although Hula Hoops are not, but you know what I mean. And so then I did that thing where when I was eating them, I stopped buying like sharing packs, because then you do just scoff the whole thing. And I started buying small packs. But then even then, the temptation of them just being there was hard for me, because they were my trigger food. They were just something that once I started eating them, I really struggled to kind of show willpower and self-control. And so what I have started doing is, like I said, just not buying those. And I made that mistake yesterday with like the share bag of chocolate, and that's why I ate more of them today than I was going to, because I know that those are my trigger foods, and the only way for me to get around it is to not buy them. Now obviously you have to kind of work on your psyche and what makes you overeat them, but sometimes I don't even think it's as complex as that. Sometimes I think it's literally just because they're crunchy, they're delicious, they're in a packet, they're there, they're easy to eat. It's the ease of it more than anything, I think. So I've just stopped buying anything like that. I have really tried to minimise as well having treat days, because I think that sometimes can kind of offset a craving. Onset a craving. I think I meant to say onset. I don't know what I meant to say. Trigger a craving. Yeah, they can trigger a craving, which isn't ideal. And I just feel like in general, it's just easier for them to not be there, and then you just can't eat them. Biscuits are another thing. I could easily eat 3 digestive biscuits in a row. I maybe want one, but they're nice and they're there, and you just pick them up and eat them. You don't have to do anything to them. You don't have to use cutlery. It's just the ease. So those things are trigger foods, and how you avoid trigger foods is just not buying said trigger foods. Find different alternatives that mean that you can have a little bit. So like I said, with chocolate, I find that easier. I'll buy dark chocolate. It's very intense. It's very rich. I'll have a small piece and I don't want any more, and I'm good with that. Crisps, on the other hand, different ball game. I haven't quite come to a solution for that. You can buy kind of slightly healthier crisps, but even those are just really nice. even those, it's portion control. And with things like that, it's just too easy to carry on eating them. I don't struggle with portion control with my dinner, like with actual food. I don't struggle at all, but with those, I do. So I would love to know your experience with trigger foods. What are your trigger foods? How do you combat it? What are your thoughts on trigger foods? Do you find it kind of is a big hinder to your weight loss? Do you find that you can easily kind of ignore it? I'd love to know. Bye.